If you don't have a regular cadence for team member employee evaluations, you might already be experiencing several pain points. These can include decreased employee morale, unclear performance expectations, a lack of accountability. Without 90-day evaluations, it is challenging, if not impossible, to track progress, provide timely feedback, and to set actionable goals. So what often happens is that there's inconsistencies in performance, unmet deadlines, and overall, just lower productivity. In this video, I'll show you how establishing a structured review process can address these issues and transform your team's efficiency and engagement. Hey everyone, I am Jay Berube. Welcome back to Better Who's channel, where we help property management businesses thrive with strong teams and efficient processes. Today, we're diving into an essential topic: how to conduct performance reviews for remote team members. We're going to focus on three key areas. Number one, setting up a structured review process. Two, providing constructive feedback. And thirdly, encouraging self-assessments and development. By the end of this video, you will be equipped to conduct fair and effective performance reviews that boost your remote team's productivity and morale. First up, let's talk about setting up a structured performance review process. Because let's face it, most of you don't have that yet, and that's okay. It's a lot simpler than you think. And when you do have a structured review process, 90-day evaluations with your team members, then you'll see that they'll start being more consistent. It'll create more transparency in when they drop the ball or you think they dropped the ball. And it's a way to actually have an equal playing field. First part of setting up a structured performance review process is whether your team members are remote or local, and whether they're new or you already have these team members, you're going to want to set up the 90-day evaluations. Now, let's focus on a new team member that is joining your company. Create a schedule and use recurring meetings. In your calendar, schedule every 90 days to have that recurring meeting show up in their calendar and in yours. They know there's a regular review and that there's a process in place. We're setting the right expectations off the bat with every new team member. And when someone can anticipate that an evaluation is coming, then what do? They're more careful with the deliverables that they provide. They want to improve because they tie their performance into their pay raise, which as business owners, that's what we do as well. Creating that schedule is truly important when you're putting together the structure. The second part is defining clear performance metrics and KPIs. For each employee, you have to define what determines success. They have to know what success looks like. For example, you can have a marketing specialist that might think that success looks like putting out a lot of content. Is that necessarily the success you're looking for? Or does the success rely on the amount of engagement that you get, the amount of followers and new leads that come into your funnel? Having a clear performance metric and KPIs are truly important. So you have to establish specific, measurable, and relevant performance indicators that are aligned with your business's objectives. Giving your team member clarity is going to help them understand what's expected of them. And don't we all just want to know when we're successful? If you're playing a basketball game and you have 100 points, the other team has 98, who won? Who was successful in that series? And then thirdly, when you're setting up a structured performance review process, document everything. Keep detailed records from the previous performance reviews. Review those before you have your next upcoming review with the team member, because there's going to be feedback and there's outcomes that you want from this review. You don't just meet every 90 days just to meet, but there's a purpose in mind, and it's to constantly improve. And in order to do that, you have to document and you have to follow up and check that documentation. That transparency is going to help them and you track progress over time. Now, the second of 3 things that we're going to be discussing in this video is providing constructive and actionable feedback. Constructive feedback is really key to employee and leadership development and motivation. Some things are hard to say, but you just have to say them. Lead off with the good, but you have to address the behaviors that need to be improved. How do you do that? Providing clear examples of what a team member did well and where they can improve. Be specific and focus on the behaviors, not the personality traits. Because guess what? Everybody wants to know that. We all have a sneaking suspicion that I might not be so great at this thing, but at the end of the day, if it's not validated, then we're not really sure. In order for us to improve, which hopefully your team members have that drive where they want to grow and improve, then people have to be made aware of what their downfalls are, of what behaviors need to be improved in their actions. Secondly, when you're providing constructive and actionable feedback, offer solutions and put together goals to help them develop. Collaborating with your team members and setting realistic development goals and an action plan is key to making this happen. And this includes identifying skills that they need to improve, but more really specific steps that they can take and make them part of that process. For example, if a team member is constantly late to meetings, let's say, and late to appointments with customers, then obviously there's something going on where they need to improve their time management. So in order to do that, what are some steps that they can take and make them part of the process? Ask them those questions. In order to improve this area, what can you do specifically to make sure that you are on time and if not early? Because what happens is when you're not, it shows that you're not respecting someone's time. And I know that's not you. And this might include time blocking. It might include managing their calendar better, but there's different ways, and obviously developing is truly important if your team members want to improve. And then lastly, on providing constructive and actionable feedback, recognize their achievements. So this goes with acknowledging, rewarding successes to motivate your team members. That recognition you can have public during team meetings, or it can be through bonuses, pay raises, or it can just be verbally when you're talking to them. Let them know, hey, that was a really good job. I know that this quarter, one of your goals was to work on reducing the amount of time in order to have make-readies done. And we were at 10 days before. And I know you worked really hard and you got it down to 7. And that is so valuable for our team. So I wanted to let you know that. Now that is key. Letting somebody know what they did well, but where they need to improve is all part of providing constructive and actionable feedback. So now, before we get to the third part of encouraging self-assessment and development, I want to take you through and show you an example of a performance evaluation. We're just keeping it simple. Here at the top, you have the employee information, name, position, the review period, and then whoever the reviewer is. And you can use this as a template. Now, in this case, one of the sections is efficiency and time management. Assessment of time utilization and priority setting. You give a score. So this score is on a scale from 1 to 5. And in this example, the score is a 3. Their achievements in that area: they managed maintenance requests for over 50 properties, developed a new scheduling system. It's implemented, but it's faced some challenges. This is very specific. Reduce the number of unassigned work orders to 5 per week. Whatever the numbers are for you, this is an example. So you can say, look, let's review your prior evaluation and let's see where you were at. Next section here, deliverable, quality, and impact. So there's an evaluation on the output, quality, creativity, and the impact. Score is a 3. Achievements: maintained a standard of work quality with a focus on resolving maintenance issues. And then some specific here. Average days to complete turnover or make ready has been reduced to 7 days, an improvement from the previous 10 days. And then the comments and areas of improvements. Without going through specifically the next areas, you can see there's professional development and adaptability, reliability and performance consistency, decision-making and initiative, overall performance, and future directions. Now, that's the last part. That's the summary. And you can choose whatever 5 categories you want. Instead of decision-making and initiative, it can be something completely different. It just depends on what's most relevant to your team and your team members. In the overall performance and future direction here, there's a summary, future goals, overall feedback, actionable steps, and then the reviewer's final comments. Now, imagine if you just take this, copy it, and paste it into a Word doc that you start using for your team members. All you have to do is then just revise what you need to revise and use it as a template. Makes it much easier to go from 0 to having a 90-day performance evaluation sheet. So let's talk about section 3, encouraging self-assessment and development. This was something that I was stuck on before. I've always been a firm believer of having an employee provide their own self-assessment before I met with them, because I want to know what they think about their performance before they see what I think about their performance. It's important to know the differences between the two, and you'll find that your team members appreciate that as well. And by doing self-assessments, you're really encouraging for your team member a growth mindset and the fact that you want them to constantly improve. So in order to do that, you have to provide a self-assessment form. You can use the same form that you use for your quarterly evaluations, and they'll have that form, and they should know to send that to you a week prior to your quarterly evaluation. And if your team member doesn't send that to you on time, a week before the quarterly review, then obviously that's something you need to discuss about their time and priority management. So that will tell you something alone. It's going to frame feedback as an opportunity for growth rather than criticism, because we're not trying to criticize anybody. We just want our team members to grow. We want them to become better leaders. And at the end of the day, we want them to be a better spoke inside of the hub of our company. And then, of course, regular follow-ups and check-ins, scheduling regular check-ins to monitor the progress, which doesn't have to be all the way up to the 90 days. You can do this sooner. You can do a follow-up within 30 days and just ask your team member, what's important to you in order to improve? Do you feel that we need to follow up in 30 days from now, or is your next evaluation more appropriate time? Ask better questions to your team members and you'll get better answers. When we talk about how to conduct performance reviews for your team members, we chatted about setting up a structured performance review process and how important that is, providing constructive and actionable feedback, and then encouraging self-assessment and development. Scheduling regular 90-day evaluations and promoting a growth mindset are crucial for effective performance reviews. Having evaluations in the calendar ensures that they happen consistently and employees are prepared. This anticipation can lead to better performance as employees know their efforts will be reviewed and often tie them into the evaluations and wage increase that everybody's looking for. In conclusion, conducting effective performance reviews for remote team members, or any team member for that matter, involves a structured process, constructive feedback, and encouraging self-assessment. Implement these strategies to boost your team's productivity and morale. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, share. If you have any questions or need any further assistance, drop a comment below or visit our website, betterwho.com. See you next time.